Hey there, how are you? Welcome to Impossible Live. Welcome back. If you're joining us again, and if this is your first time, or you're returning, or you're catching us on a replay, please let us know where you're joining us from. One of the things that I'd love to thank you for, besides joining us, is just really for kind of your incredible support and to send you virtual toasts so we can celebrate what's happening with you in life and kind of pause. They're reminded to hydrate and pause for some self-care and kind of refresh. Today, delighted to be out of town, visiting with lots of family. And one of the things about visiting with family is we're always delighted to do it for the right reasons. And family today, we're here today because of a family wedding. And I'm delighted to have a chance to celebrate with family every time we can, but especially to celebrate that two parts of our family had a chance to get together. So I know we talk all the time about different things about our energy and about how to help us ramp up our entrepreneurial energies or how to look for the wellness part. And you'll notice again, I am really back to picking songs. So September is a month of titles with songs. And you'll also look forward to a wonderful song picked by one of our upcoming and returning guests, Heather Travis. But in the process of picking songs, I was delighted to pick this song, Love's in Need of Love. And I love when I always am reminded in the process of setting up for the day to take some time to do all of my little pre check things. And I'm laughing because I wrote Love's in Need of Love Truly. And that really is that really is the spirit. But Love's in Need of Love Today is one of my favorite songs by Stevie Wonder from Songs in the Key of Life. And it's I don't think I realized when I picked this one of the timing that it would be for an episode the day after a family wedding when mom's youngest sister and dad's youngest brother they married, and it was a chance to reconnect with both sides of our family in a unique and a different way. And I really was kind of taken back a bit by the level of emotion by really having a chance to celebrate that and to celebrate love from the perspective of the different generations or our different cultures, our different walks of life, and watching the amazing energy between different generations just from starting off a beautiful, beautiful outdoor wedding, a little too warm for many of us, including the bride's dad. Hey Emma, how are you? Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And we remarked on it later how hot it was, and it really reminded me as we were sitting there waiting in really intense heat in kind of a peaceful garden at a beautiful venue of just that need to get together to celebrate love. And we don't often have many chances to do that in the world. I was really reminded of an amazing conversation I had with Emma last week. And Emma, I want to thank you for being here today. I was really reminded in that legacy of how we're honoring loved ones and how we're getting together and connecting, that sometimes we don't make the time for some of the conversations that we could have. It also was my mom's first wedding. since Pop passed. And it was our first really upright family celebration, shall we say, since he passed. And I think one of the things that really hit me was not only just the music and an opportunity to dance, and mom loves to dance. And she really had the right spirit and the attitude because she'd been so excited about it. And watching our young cousins and watching all of the festivities, all of the behind the scenes things that were going on, from our amazing cousin, the mom of the bride, who had to wait to be walked down the aisle. And at the same time, she was the event planner behind everything. And it really is a reminder we don't take that chance to pause really and celebrate the love across generations and in our relationships. It's so much easier in our world to sometimes say something negative. And I appreciate Sean for popping in last week and talking to us about no negative comments online. But we live in a world where you kind of feel the negativity. I find it interesting because in the process of watching the Olympics, you hear people cheering nationally for countries that they don't necessarily seem to support on a daily basis. But this was a reminder, really, in our process of building relationships and honoring them, and just really creating the space that we need to kind of really check in and say hi. If we haven't met recently, I hope we have a chance to meet and connect in person or for a virtual call. If we haven't seen each other in a while, I want to thank you for every warm, wonderful memory you've helped create, for every laugh you've sent, for every smile across the miles, for every really positive comment. I was smiling because somebody was calling me an optimist a couple of weeks ago. And I wasn't really feeling it. Like yesterday, I was really excited to see this joining of two different families, and to see the ceremony, the lengths with which they went to honor each other. What I laughed was at the amazing energy of youth, as the bridal party and the groomsmen kind of made their entrance. And the groomsmen, whoo, some mad, wild energy, fantastic hugs, high fives, cheers almost, just before the ceremony started. And I think one of the things that I loved was a chance to really celebrate. We don't really treat love sometimes as the treasure that it should be. We don't necessarily acknowledge it when it's present. We acknowledge the things that make us uncomfortable. We acknowledge the things that sometimes we don't acknowledge. And that's what I was reminded of yesterday. I had a chance yesterday, a rare opportunity, to say thanks to some of our cousins who had really been holding space for us over the years. Some I hadn't seen in like 3 or 4 or 5 years. But the best part was watching love come alive to celebrate this wonderful young couple, watching, you know, watching their toasts, watching their joy, watching a videographer kind of pass the mic during to record the toast and to record them so that they will be reminded in the days when it's not so bright and warm and fuzzy about the need to treasure love and the need to really respect it. And sometimes it seems we're in a world where we don't always feel that level of respect from others. We don't feel that level of kindness, that level of grace. And I'd love today, in the process of just us having a short conversation, to encourage you to reach out to somebody who you haven't spoken to in a while, or maybe who you haven't said hi or kissed or hugged since this morning or since last week, who you haven't had a chance to make a space and create the time to say, I adore you. So, in that spirit, I'd love to raise a glass to those who are with us, those who aren't with us, those we would love to be with us. I was really reminded yesterday of how much my dad loves weddings. He loved weddings. He loved love. He loved watching people celebrate and people dance. And boy, he'd had a lot of fun watching people across 2 and 3 generations tear up a dance floor yesterday. What I found was interesting, as much as I also love love, truly the romantic. The joke would be, if I wasn't a coach or in helping others elevate their event experiences through event alchemy, I might have one day, way back when, have been a matchmaker. And it's a real reminder to take the time to create the space, to introduce others to people we love, to things we love, to experiences they may love, and to realize how much our spirits may really need that. I realized yesterday that yesterday was one of those days where I would miss a chance to dance with my father. It'll remind me to play Luther's song, Dance with My Father, sometime soon. And in the process, just of acknowledging love and our need for it, is really to create the space to celebrate it, and to not just save it for the weddings, for the christenings, for the graduations, for the celebrations of life, for the birthdays, for the retirements, for those milestone events, but to create some space in between to celebrate, acknowledge it, and share it. And I'm not saying we could all get together in a way to do it that would crown out or drown out some of the negativity that others are seeing and experiencing in our world. But it would definitely help to make us lighter, to make us brighter, to lift our spirits, to lift our energies. And Emma, I really want to thank you for that, because I'm going to do the same. Sometimes we think of people, and I have a dear friend whose birthday is next week. And the last time I thought of her, I was in a restaurant with another dear friend that she had introduced me to. And I was probably 3 miles from her home. And I missed the opportunity that day while I was waiting 40 minutes for a friend who was had a chance to kind of celebrate life, ease into things, probably curl up with her dog, relax, do some laundry. You know, that one of the things that I didn't do that day was pick up the phone to say, hey, Sandy, I adore you. I'm at a place you introduced me to, and I'm thinking about you. And I just wanted to say thank you and celebrate love. While we can reach out, there's somebody around you who may look like they need a hug. You're not sure you can deliver it. They may need some sort of lift of a spirit, to be reminded that someone cares them, that someone's honoring them, that someone's showing up and willing to show up for them. Because in between, we're not really sure. Yesterday, there was an opportunity for couples to dance together. And uh, I'm grateful to have a chance to ask my love, please go ask our cousin to ask mom to dance. I know she loves to dance. And it was a couples dance. And I didn't want my mom to sit there and watch other couples dancing. And I was delighted to see our handsome cousin Brandon get up and spin and twirl his auntie on the floor. And she loved it. And she thanked him later. She also smiled because she was reminded He's a much better dancer than his dad was, but just the thoughtfulness of it. In that process of reaching out, I learned that I needed a moment privately to celebrate my love for my dad. And it ended up being one of those that another cousin saw me and came over and gave me the biggest, most wonderful hug. Thank you, Vanessa, for you and your beautiful family. But somewhere in there, there's somebody we need to think about. There's somebody we need to send a message to because we all need that lift. I want to thank those of you who are convinced I am an optimist. And at the same time, to really acknowledge that somewhere in there, there's somebody we know and we love. And this air conditioner in the hotel is going to kick up and remind me that there's somebody somewhere who's in need of love today. And if you can make a minute, if you can take a minute, if you can create a space, and if we could do a little bit of that each and every day, as Emma's saying, she's going to make a couple of calls this weekend. It may not, mm, it may not seem like something that you have time for in your busy day. It may not seem like you have something for at the end of your day. Maybe even if it's, on a Friday before a weekend, just let somebody know that you're thinking about them. Even if you just leave the message so that they can check in at another time. Online, delighted to connect yesterday with some wonderful friends from the UK. Thank you again, Dell and Exquisite Eve. I really needed some We Rise and Soar time with you yesterday, and I appreciate you because I didn't know how much I needed that wonderful energy before going to the wedding, and I treasured it. So this morning, I left Dell an audio message in response to Dell's audio message. And shortly after this, I'll call Exquisite Eve and I'll leave her an audio message. It takes seconds to share the love, to share the light, to pass the torch. We're not sure sometimes how deeply someone needs it and when it'll be our last time. Oh, Adele, it was wonderful to catch up with you too. Wonderful to catch up with you too. And I'm looking forward to doing it again and more regularly. Dell is someone who I had the pleasure of meeting in a webinar by Exquisite Eve of Brand Your Dream. And Dell and I connected almost instantly. And this wonderful, amazing woman shares love with every call. She shares light with every call. She's an amazing, talented, wonderful woman. You'll see me tag her again on LinkedIn shortly. Hi, Roshni. How are you, beautiful? And sorry for the delay on LinkedIn with sometimes seeing your comments. But I really just wanted to take a moment to thank you. And Roshni's here, queen of queen of love and light, one of my queens, and I want to thank you all for that. Everybody needs somebody to hold space for us. Everyone needs someone to treasure our heart, to see our heart, to feel our spirit, to help lift us up so that we remember the joy, the kindness of it. You taking seconds to reach out to a colleague, to a friend, to a family member, to a neighbor, to even welcome a new neighbor, which really these days can be challenging. You'll never know who's behind the bell, but even if you have a second to really remind someone that you understand the need that we all have, and the need for grace and to be treasured and to be loved. I want to thank you for joining me today, the day after a family wedding, as I'm about to go over to Auntie's and raid all her photos so I can add them to Mom's memories when she gets back home. But I really want to thank you for joining us for Impossible Live, and those of you who also join us for Event Alchemy, and those of you who are just holding space for others so we can remember, as my Nana always said, treasure your light. We can remember to treasure it. We can remember to feel it. We can remember to share it. My wish would be that we could all brighten a darker or dim corner of our world today. And maybe another one tomorrow, another one the day after, and the day after that, and the day after that. Emma, thank you also for sharing the love today. And I'm so grateful as Zainab and Zay, as they call you, and Aubra start the next chapter of their life together. Keep celebrating love. Please keep tuning in to hang out and warm us all up and send smiles across the miles. I will see you live in a couple of weeks. And I look forward to you joining us again. And please keep suggesting great songs that we can use for our upcoming Impossible Live sessions. Take great care. And please stay safe, stay well, stay inspired, and stay in touch. Have a magnificent day filled with opportunities and possibilities. Take great care.